Hello dear people of the earth and welcome back to QuickSaveTV. My name is Mike and this is going to be my review of Far Cry 3 single player, right? I wanted to make a review of this wonderful game and I was lost in terms of how to make it. So I've decided to break it in parts, and if you would like to see more information about the cooperative or the multiplayer mode in Far Cry 3, please refer to specific videos. This one's going to be specifically only about single player. I wanted to talk about everything, right? I wanted to tell you everything there is in this game about all the crafting mechanics, about the leveling up mechanics, about stealth mechanics, everything that is awesome. There is so many things to talk about, and I just realized at some point that, who cares? I'm going to tell you how the game makes you feel and what the game is all about rather than what the game is, because who really cares about that, right? I mean, if you will play the game, you will soon realize all these techniques and mechanics and what's so special about the game. But let me just go ahead and start talking about what was really impressive and well done in Far Cry 3, and in order to bring you to whatever conclusion you will have about the game. World in the game is alive, right? There are many things happening at the same time. There are certain factions fighting against each other. There are events taking place. There are constantly people hunting for meat to provide food for the table for their families and for the soldiers in their faction. There are people mourning dead. There are people getting enslaved by the pirates. There are so many random events in the game. There are at least 10 of them, right? Which constantly spawn and generate. There are patrols which travel the world, making the random encounters possible. There are the alarm techniques when you storm enemy outposts, making the reinforcements come if they sound the alarm, and etc, etc, etc. World in the game is alive, interconnected, everything works together. If you conquer the outpost in here, you will reduce the numbers of the enemy in this area and increase the number of loyalists in this area, and which will make the life for you easier. And there's so many things like this, you help people here, they're going to be able to help you later. They might even try to attack the outposts themselves. They will patrol the areas, maybe preserve stuff. You will be able to defend the locals. You will be able to do incredible amount of things. Wherever you go in Far Cry 3, it's stuffed with content. Any part of the island, whether you're hunting for relics or just exploring the island per se, you will always have something to do. The story in the game is, although pretty much trivial, is very elaborate. The way it's composed, it's a high percentage of psychological elements and philosophical elements, as opposed to, this is what it is, and you have to roll with this, right? Although the game story, the storyline is pretty much linear, there is very little choice you can make, except for the end of the game, which will be the 2 decisions, if I understood correctly. Perhaps 3, I think it's 2, and this is pretty much it for the non-linearity. But the way it's done, the way it's created, the psychological influence on your character, how he changes, how the island shapes and changes him because of his need to survive and because he never had to do that before, the philosophy behind the action he's making, what it means to be the warrior, what is a warrior, are you a bloodthirsty berserker who goes around killing people, or are you a defender of the weak? And this psychological and philosophical notes, they are all the time interconnected with the main story curve, the way the events transpire and the way things happen and what's happening in the game. It was really interesting to follow, as a matter of fact. I'm not gonna say that the storyline was incredible, right? This is not the story writing equal to Mass Effect 2 or the Walking Dead or whatever else. It's just a shooter with a story that is not sucking dick, right? Much like, remember Vivisector, perhaps, The Beast Within? In this game you played, it was pretty much the same philosophical but not so much psychological, notes in the story. There was philosophy of the strength, right? Who deserves to live and who deserves to die, right? Will the weak be culled or should we defend them, and etc, etc. Here it's also, you know, mixed up with pretty much a lot of insanity, right? And insanity is elaborated in the drugs, because there's drugs everywhere on the island, and the major, you know, factions in the game, they grow drugs, and for certain reasons, locals use them for recreational purposes or for the purposes to enhance their abilities, and of course, the guests of the island use it to make money. And, you know, all of this mixed up together makes such a wonderful and deadly mix. It was a great joy to actually play it, and I think, you know, anyone would enjoy it. It's something really unusual, not like other shooters out there. There are certain interesting mechanics in the game, such as crafting, looting, and leveling up, as well as stealth. Each of them could be talked separately in an entire video, and video could be an hour long, and we would, you know, discuss everything at length. But I have to tell you the following, right? When we compare Far Cry 3 to Far Cry 2, it's a huge leap forward. It's a huge leap. Now, Far Cry 3 is not only better than Far Cry 2, it's an amazing game in its own right. The stealth mechanics and the way they work, the leveling up techniques and mechanics that are used, and 54 skills you can select from 3 separate trees. You can skin animals to craft your permanent upgrades. You can gather herbs in order to make yourself drugs, which will improve your characteristics, which will allow you to be more effective on the battlefield, or even heal yourself or increase your health, and whatever. There are so many things, and all of that mixes up so well together, and, you know, holds together on this idea that you're trying to survive, that you're trying to bend the nature to your own will, that you're trying to master the jungle, and that you're trying to save people that are dear to you, right? It was just amazing, right? It was an amazing experience. I think they couldn't have done a better job of elaborating all these things together. They work so well together and hold so well together that I was really impressed, right? This is something I can really comment about this game. Although I didn't agree with all the design choices in the game, I think it's just great in the way it's done and the way these things hold together. They don't feel artificial. And so for my conclusion about Far Cry 3, what about the value for money? I bought the game on a CityKey site for 25 euros, right? And this was money well spent. I'm really satisfied with the purchase. I can recommend the game for anyone, absolutely. The game will come out on 4th of December in United States of America. It's already out in Europe and other regions of the world. We also have to have some, you know, special releases, not only you American dudes and dudettes, wonderful dudettes. So, if you need my opinion on the topic, whether or not should you buy the game, yes, I recommend it to you. You should go ahead and try it out. If you're a fan of shooters with a mix of RPGs, you will enjoy this game. And for the time being, that's everything I have for you for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this video and my commentary, do not forget to put a like on this video and favorite it. I will be grateful to no measure. And of course, stay tuned for more content from me and QuickSaveTV, and have a greatest day. Love you all.